Helio
Yes.
Castroneves will be driving 6 races in the number 06 car in 2021 for Meyer-Shank Racing. He says he has unfinished business in his kind of press release there, I guess. And he ran a couple of races earlier this season, or this past season, excuse me, for Team Penske, obviously in the Indy 500, and then was a fill-in role for 2 races there for Oliver Askew for his kind of when he was injured. So he came over there to Aaron McLaren and then filled that spot for a couple of races and was at Team Penske as well. And he's done obviously the endurance championships for the last 3 seasons, I believe it is. And he's done quite well over there. He's the current points leader in the endurance series as well in IMSA. So he's doing very, very well for himself in that regard. But it's an interesting move to come back on a part-time basis. I think they released his schedule as well. I don't have it written down, but he's definitely running the Indy 500. I know that, and also 5 other races. So should be fun to see Helio Castroneves join the partnership with Jack Harvey over there as the second part-time car in that stable.
Yeah, and that's a team that's been kind of on the up. Jack Harvey had a really strong season this year, and obviously most notably getting the investment from Liberty, obviously the owners of Formula One. So when you look at that and you look at adding somebody like Helio Castroneves, promising going into the future. Castroneves obviously has so much pedigree to his name, whether that be in IndyCar or elsewhere, and showed this season that he's still a very capable driver, just given what they've been able to do in IMSA there with Acura Team Penske with that DPI. Currently first, as you mentioned there, 4 overall victories going into this last race at Sebring this weekend as well. So going to be interesting to see what they can do there in that last race for that team there. But yeah, the IndyCar results when he has come back haven't been all that spectacular recently. You look at the handful of races that he's run, and you have to go back to his last full-time season for his last top 10 when he finished 4th in the championships. To the 2018 Indianapolis Grand Prix for his last top 10. Since then, been pretty disappointing. Sniffed around a top 10 for the Indy 500 earlier this season, but the 2 races for Aaron McLaren SP were not spectacular, 20th and 21st. But you expect that from somebody that has not been running full season. So going into next year, don't really know what to expect, to be honest, from both Meyer-Shank Racing and from Castroneves. I don't know what to expect for their performance given the influx of cash from Liberty and what to expect from Jack Harvey in terms of performance. And I also don't know what to expect from a 45-year-old Helio Castroneves. I don't know whether we should be expecting late teens, early 20s finishes and just kind of being one of the back markers, or whether we should expect him to be a top 10 or even top 5 contender. It'll probably end up being somewhere in between that. But anytime we can get Castroneves back in IndyCar is great to see, and I'm excited to see another new entrant to the series as well in that second Meyer-Shank car.
This series, man, is going to be so much
insane.
fun to watch. I am pumped for IndyCar. This past season, I've definitely gotten into it more, and next season, I'm going to be fully invested in this sport.
We're gonna have Helio Castroneves, Scott Dixon, Jimmy Johnson, Scott McLaughlin, Sebastian Bourdais, so many past All-Stars, champions, whatever of their sports, all competing in IndyCar next season. And
who knows? And that might not be the end of it either.
Yeah, there might be more. There's Formula One names we might add. There's Formula E names we might add. There's even more that could
it's
be
going to be nuts.
added. Yeah.
I hope that there's more entries in IndyCar because that's something I'm hoping for, just to give a bit more of a full field and not as many of the low 20s kind of entries. It can be maybe upwards in the higher 20s of entries on a consistent basis would be excellent for the sport. And I hope IndyCar sees reaps the rewards of that next season in terms of ratings and everything like that. So I'm excited to see Helio Castroneves back. He's obviously a great character, fun guy.
And just quickly here, do you want me to run through the schedule as well? The
quickly.
races?
What has he got?
So he's running the second and third races of the seasons at Barber and Long Beach. After that, a bit of a wait until the Indy 500. That'll be his third race of the season. And then ending off the season, of course, on the Indianapolis road course. And then ending the season with both of the last races of the year at Portland and Laguna Seca. So a nice mix of races there, primarily on the road courses, which is what majority of the season is, but getting in that Indy 500 entry as well.
I'm kind of disappointed he didn't do the Music City GP. I think that would have been a fun thing for him to do. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see him back next season in a partial schedule for Meyer-Shank Racing. So